this week I'm going to talk about the global fintech trends that are predominant right now in Europe and Asia and the impact that it will have in the US marketplace.
Now, you just returned from trip abroad to India, the UK, other places in Europe. What was the most eye-opening thing about the fintech industry that you took away from your recent travels?
In my view, in Europe, the whole advent of open banking, it's still just starting out. September 2019 is the first date when banks have to really start sharing their data. So it's still early days, but the kind of impact that we are starting to see, the aggregators who are starting to offer these data products in the market, and also the ability that it will give to consumers to freely shop around is actually pretty interesting. The other big trend that I saw in European market was that the challenger banks, including even the large banks who are challengers in certain markets, are moving very aggressively.
What would you say is the hottest market internationally for fintech?
I would say right now Europe looks good because of PSD2, but in terms of the overall scale and the ability for people to change, Asian markets are looking very hot right now. Hong Kong is a great example. India is catching up pretty fast because of all the data infrastructure that has been set up. There are some challenges in India, recent policy changes which have set it back, but still the adaptation of digital technologies and the adaptation of the young population in those markets is actually changing, is bringing tremendous amount of change and also pressure on the existing incumbent banks now.
Given that the Asian markets are kind of leading the way in the international fintech scene, what trends are you seeing in particular in countries like India that US-based bankers should pay attention to?
Yeah, so I was speaking at a conference in India, recently on the impact of AI and ML. And one of the things that I saw in that market was that the market has really leapfrogged. So there is no concept of core banking systems, or it's less prevalent, and the whole idea of sharing of data is a lot more, people are a lot more open about it.
There's a narrative out there about developed versus developing economies. Do you think in fintech that narrative still holds true?
Right now in the fintech space, it's not a question of emerging versus the emerged. It's more a question of legacy versus non-legacy. So the countries which are more agile and nimble are seeing a faster adoption in the fintech space compared to countries like US, which has a great advantage in terms of data quality and the rule of law. But where we are failing as a country is there's lack of open banking, lack of ability to bundle in different products. And that's where I think US can take some of the lessons from Asian and other markets and can adapt towards greater adoption of fintech. My take is that fintech is opening up a lot of possibilities all across the world. Consumers have really taken a liking to the fintech capabilities and fintech offerings, whether by the existing players or the new players. And it will be interesting to see that how the existing financial giants are going to tackle this issue and how quickly can they adapt in the new world.